Right, we are back. Another rainy day episode of Your Relationship Sucks! Exclamation point.
I'm doing it now. I'm doing
You're
it
doing
now.
it? Well, that's not cool. You're stealing my thing. That's like my thing. That's what I'm known
I'm not
for.
even looking at the
I'm
camera.
literally internet famous for that. And you're taking it, so that's not cool. But whatever, I guess it's fine. So all right, so we're back helping people out. You're telling me that we got another just a little bit of a longer one today. Somebody's going to really dive in here, so we got a lot of meat to sink our teeth into here.
Which are my favorite, by the way. I'm a fan of the media advice.
The meaty advice.
Okay. I love knowing all the details.
Honestly, I should probably take notes on this because, again, I haven't heard any of this stuff. So, like, all of this comes at me, and I basically got to remember all this stuff on the fly, and I don't really have the best memory in the first place.
Yeah, and you never get to look at it to reference again.
I have no idea.
I do.
I literally never see.
I go back through and I read it, and then sometimes call you out on details and get that. I get that. So that's one of the fun parts.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so I have I don't know what's coming. I have no idea. Everything I say is off the cuff. This is all here. I'm a relationship wizard. I'm here to tell you how to solve your problems based on the dumb stuff that I've done in the past. So listen to me so you don't make the same mistakes. That's what we're doing here. But you're telling me that we got another one, so let's get into it. We're going to start with our first impressions here. So hit me with it. What is the question of the day?
Okay. The first impression isn't going to have a question, but you're still going to tell me like whose side you're on.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to keep that in mind. A 27-year-old male, ex-fiance, 26-year-old female, cheated on me with my cousin, a 25-year-old male. Now my family wants me to forgive him because he's sick with cancer. You're laughing so hard the mic is like breaking.
Oh God, that was awesome. That was totally unexpected. I was not prepared for that question. This is a great question. My initial impression is that I think that this cancer kid is a huge piece of shit, and I think this guy should not forgive his cancer cousin. 100%, just a fact. That's how I feel.
Okay.
I think he might have gotten cancer specifically because he took his cousin's girlfriend or fiance or whatever.
Okay, so you're saying this is karma cancer?
Yeah, 100%. Everybody knows that karma cancer is a real thing. This is karma cancer. I don't know what stage it's at, but it's definitely like a stage something karma cancer for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have any siblings, but I have a cousin, Kevin, who's 2 years younger than me, and we literally grew up together. I spent a lot of time with my dad's side of the family. My mom is deceased, and dad never remarried. He has health issues. And I was there with Kevin most of the time, and we did everything together. We fought, played, cried, laughed together. I've always been very close to my grandparents as well, so I was very comfortable being there. When I was engaged to my ex-fiance, I used to bring her over to my grandparents' house most of the time. Me, and Kevin would spend our time doing things together. I noticed Kevin would try to take part in personal conversations and try to tag along whenever we went out to dinner. I set some boundaries, but he kept stomping over them. He changed. He'd try to pick fights with me and claim I'm forgetting about him and prioritizing my ex over him. I didn't know how to deal with this, so I kept my distance. In about 2 months, I found out from my aunt about Kevin constantly meeting up with my ex, and she told me she was worried something was going on between Kevin and my ex-fiance. She was right.
Wait. Was this when they were exes? Were they still together at the time?
They were still together at the time.
So they were meeting. Okay,
they were still. They were meeting up. I think the person who told him was his aunt. I'm not sure if it's Kevin's mother or like another aunt.
Sure. Yep.
But which kudos to that aunt for like actually saying something. I think even if it was, especially if it was Kevin's mother. Turned out my ex and Kevin got together and I was being kept in the dark while I was planning our wedding and handing out invitations. I felt like an absolute idiot. I couldn't handle my anger. I stopped everything and cut contact with Kevin and the family, except my dad because he needed me. It's been over a year now. I heard that Kevin was in
What
and
about
out of the hospital.
what about the aunt? You just cut off his fucking aunt?
I know. I guess
She's
like
got his
the
back.
part that like, yeah, I guess the part where I don't understand is like why cut off the whole family, but like maybe the family was covering it up. I guess he didn't go into details on that. But
That's
I mean,
true.
if
That's
the
true.
aunt is saying something, like she's not covering it up, you know, she's like,
Yeah.
I'm worried something's happening. I guess
agree.
whatever. His choice, he was really hurt, not the point necessarily. Until now. Now it's like we're getting into it.
Okay.
It's been over a year now. I heard that Kevin was in and out of the hospital, but I didn't know why until my aunt reached out to tell me that Kevin has liver cancer and wasn't handling it well. I drove my dad to visit him once and saw my ex, who's now his girlfriend, there, and I left right away. I kept my distance and
banging. Okay. All right.
yeah, I kept my distance, and recently I started getting calls from family members saying, "Did you hear about Kevin?" And telling me the same story. My grandmother called me wanting to arrange for a family dinner on Christmas, and because Kevin got out of the hospital, she wanted me to come, hoping I had solved my issues with him, and seeing him and seeing that I may not be able to do it later. Sorry, these are like some crazy sentences. But I refused. She told me I needed to have some empathy and let go of the past. What happened to him was enough for me to let it go. They started pressuring me from all sides. I told my grandparents that I wouldn't sit with my ex-fiance and the person who wronged me at the same table and pretend to be a happy family. They replied that I was resentful, that he's my cousin no matter what happens. It's the same people who allowed my ex into their house after what she did and sided with Kevin and said they only allowed my ex into the house for Kevin's sake, and now demand I get right with him because he clearly deserves more sympathy than I do. I'm deeply hurt and can't imagine sitting at the same table with the people who hurt me the most. What should I do at this point? I think everyone is being unfair and refusing or just ignoring what Kevin did to me.
I really enjoy the term karma cancer, and I think that we should, if this ever gets popular enough where like we can actually like sell merchandise, 100% the very first thing we're gonna sell is a fucking karma cancer t-shirt. That's just a fact. Like I love the term karma cancer. Fucking Kevin embodies literally. Kevin literally is currently embodying karma cancer. Like this is a full-on fact that this is a direct result. Like this is not correlation. This is straight up causation. He caused his own cancer by stealing this dude's fiance, right? Fucking Mr. Steal Your Girl Kevin decided to swipe this chick straight out from under this guy's nose, and he's getting paid back with liver cancer, right? Like, I mean, that's like, I honestly don't know that there's any other way to see this. I genuinely don't. Like, I genuinely
just like took this guy's life.
Yeah, 100%. And then everybody else is like, hey, you know what? Go fuck yourself, right? Here's my thing, right? So number one, for anybody who's watching that actually wants to support us because they enjoy what we do, because we enjoy it, we would like to do this more, please let us know, because 100% I will be selling a Karma Cancer t-shirt. And so let me know. Give me your size. I will send it to you. I have no problem with that. I am fully on board. We are definitely doing a Karma Cancer t-shirt. I love it. I'm very excited about it. That's a great call by you. I wish I thought of that myself. What was the other thing I was thinking about the other day? What was it? It wasn't it was the one, the waterfalls, the other thing. Surf City. We're definitely going to sell one of those shirts too. 100% we're going to sell one of those too. Nobody's going to have any idea what that means, but definitely Surf City we're definitely going to sell one of those too.
Surf City will be worked in when it's an appropriate time, and then everyone will understand.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm probably going to sell those before.
And you can probably guess what it means.
But definitely Karma Cancer. That's 100%. That's 100%. That's going on a t-shirt. I love it. I know I've talked a lot about it so far in this. Like I would say 90% of this particular show has been about karma cancer. But
yes,
that's the point.
You definitely beat that point. Yeah.
This kid has literally caused himself karma cancer. Like he literally has karma'd his way into having fucking cancer. Honestly, here's the thing. Doesn't sound like he's super close with his family anyways, right? Like, not really clear how close he really is with his family. It sort of seems weird to me. I was like, I'm almost 100% behind this kid. Almost 100%. The part that I'm not behind is that he just like stopped talking to his aunt, I guess. She actually was supporting him, right? So I can understand if he was like, hey, you know what? I don't want to talk about that bitch Kevin, right? But I'd love to know what's going on with your life, ex-Kevin. So, like, if you could give me some updates on you and I could share some stuff with you, like that. But I get it, you know, that's kind of hard too. Like, I understand.
I don't know if, like, the ending made, so at first I felt the same way, and then the ending made it seem like maybe he cut his family off after they just all of a sudden, like, his fiance started dating Kevin, and then they just, like, switched their affections. Like, they had already been familiar with the fiance, they were comfortable with her, and they were just all very okay with him no longer being with it and Kevin being with there. And I feel like that might be a betrayal. So, like, I don't know if that happened like a trickle,
actually,
because it's,
I'm with you.
Yeah, eventually maybe the aunt was cool at first, but because at the end it kind of makes it seem like part of why he's frustrated with his family is they never really seem to acknowledge that what Kevin did was super fucked up.
I'm with you. All right, okay.
And I think if my family, I'm going to be honest, I'm very close to my family. If that's what happened in my family, I would definitely take several steps back and probably wouldn't talk to them. I'd be like, yeah, you're not really.
Well, I think, honestly, I think that's the point, right? Like, the point of this whole thing is Kevin's a bitch, and this lady's a bitch, right? The fiance is a bitch, too. I don't like either one of these people. And if you're going to be family, right, then you got to support other people, right? And this isn't even like a man code or any of that stuff, right? You know, like man code, you know, you don't date somebody's ex and stuff like that. Like, look, there's no real code with that. Like, dudes say that for a while because they're super insecure about it. And so, like, it's really hard for them to like have somebody else date the person that you were with, right? Because then they're insecure. They're like, oh, well, what if they find out my secrets and stuff like that? You know, like, and some people believe it, some people don't. And like, it's fine. What I can tell you is having somebody in the crew who's like always kind of trying to swipe exes is not awesome. Like, that's happened. And like, I know people who kind of have that reputation, right? Where they're like, you know, they're just, you know, they're Mr. fucking slide in second of like that type of situation. And, you know, it's kind of like, all right, bro, like, what are you bringing to the crew? You know what I mean? Like what are you bringing to the table? Because then, like, every time he's around, you know, and you're like dating somebody or whatever, you know, you're like, is this dude just like gonna try and hit on my girlfriend? Or like, what's up? So that's not a fun person to have around, right? Kind of sounds like basically that's what Kevin did. I don't really understand what he's talking about when he's like, he was trying to get in on like personal conversations or like going out. That sort of sounded like he was being invited in, but then he wasn't. I don't know. But either way, it sounds like Kevin is basically undermining this guy, right? And so I'm not cool with what he did. Like, that's fucked up. I'm not about that. But here's the thing. People are like, oh, you only have family and you only have these things and whatever. And I say, okay, that's fine. I agree with that. Like, family's forever, all that stuff, whatever. But here's what family really is, right? Family is somebody who supports you, okay? Kevin was not supportive of this guy in that he stole his girlfriend, right? I mean, like, literally, like, stole his girlfriend. Fiance, right, fiance.
Like, they literally were planning a wedding, yeah, which I do think is an important distinction, to be honest.
I mean, number one, actually, it's kind of a good thing that Kevin did that because sounds like this chick wasn't super into marrying this guy, so like bullet dodged there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
There are other ways to bring that to light.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Kevin stole this dude's, like, he just straight up swiped this guy's fiance, right? I mean, it's two people to tango, all that shit, but like, he took her, and she left. And so family is forever, but family's only forever if they support you, right? And basically people who are like, oh, well, family's forever. Like, you don't want to, they're fucking afraid to die alone, right? They're like, oh, well, I want somebody there. And honestly, I don't want somebody fucking there when I'm dying if they're not going to support me. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm just not into that. I'm just not fucking into that at all, right? Like I'm gonna be dying of fucking cancer. Kevin's gonna walk in, fucking cancer free, and he's gonna roll in and he's gonna be like, hey, what's up, cancer nurse? Like, let's leave this fucking clown here to fucking die, and let's go find something else, and let's let him deal with all those fucking lumps, right? Like that, like, no, Kevin, get the fuck out of my room. You know what I mean? Like I don't want this dude around me at all.
Yeah.
So for people who are like, hey, you know what? And by the way, I am not an advocate for breaking up relationships. Like I don't advocate for that. Honestly, like I don't. But when I say that, I'm very specifically talking about like family relationships because that's a very real thing to me. I will try to support people in reuniting and talking back, but I'm not someone who says like don't deal like leave your family. Like that's just not something I personally believe in. I don't think it's wrong if you do. I'm not comfortable with it myself. Here's what I'll say to this guy. I'm not saying fucking dump your family, right? What I'm saying is the only thing that matters with the people who stick with you forever is that they support you, right? And I don't mean blindly. I don't mean like anybody who fucking supports you blindly is not really there to support you. They're just there because they're afraid that you're going to leave them, right? So it's not that part. The thing that you have to ask of yourself and of them is, are you going to support me? Can I count on you? And honestly, right now, it doesn't sound like you can count on these people. So I'm not telling you to leave them. I'm not telling you any of that. What I'm telling you is this. You need to say to them, look, I'm not comfortable with this. I think what you're doing is really fucked up. Grandma and Grandpa, I don't understand how you can do this to me, honestly. Kevin, I don't understand how you can do this to me, honestly. Aunt, whatever, I don't understand how you can do this to me, honestly. Here's how I feel. I feel like you're abandoning me and that you're basically sweeping under the rug because you feel bad that he has cancer. Just because you have cancer doesn't give you a free pass to do whatever the fuck you want. And honestly, he didn't get cancer until after he did this to me. So that doesn't excuse what he did. The cancer is not an excuse for what he did, and it's not a reason to sweep any of this shit under the rug. I'm not saying you have to be mad at him, but I'm saying you better understand where I'm coming from. And you should buy a Karma Cancer t-shirt to support me. But either way, Kevin can have your support for the cancer, but he shouldn't have your support for what he did to me. And if you can't understand that distinction and you can't appreciate that I don't want to be in a room with this girl and I am choosing not to be in a room with this girl, then I have to question whether or not you are actually going to be there to support me in my life. And if you're not going to be there to support me in my life, then I need to understand whether or not I think I should keep you around in my life. And I know that's a hard thing to do. And what I'm saying is that's what you should say. And then you should take some time. Number one, see what they have to say. See what they have to say. Because this is a hard conversation to have with somebody, right? Because if you're going to your aunt, you're saying to your aunt, hey, you know, aunt, whatever, I need you to choose me over your son, right? I mean, honestly, like that's basically what you're saying. That's a hard thing to do, 100%. Grandparents, I'm asking you to choose one grandchild over the other. That's a hard thing to do. I get that. Here's what I'm saying. See what they have to say about that. Maybe they surprise you and they say, hey, you know what? We didn't really think about it that way. You're right. He did do some fucked up stuff. It did probably cause his cancer. So we can't be mad about the cancer part, and we're going to be supportive of him. But honestly, yeah, it was kind of fucked up what he did, right? So we understand that. Let's have a separate holiday with you and with him, right? We'll separate those out because we understand where you're coming from, and because it's not important that you two are together because you guys, you'll do whatever, and it's your choice. It's your choice if you want to amend your relationship with Kevin before he possibly dies. And again, I'm not being flippant about the fact that this guy's dying. I'm saying I'm looking at it from this kid's perspective. It's his choice. If you want to forgive him before, and like if he's really seriously going to die, and you want to forgive him before he dies, that's up to you. That's not up to them. That's up to you, because that's something you're going to live with for the rest of your life, right? Whether you're okay with that or not, I don't know. And I'm not telling you one way or the other. I'm not saying you're going to regret it if you don't. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't know. Nobody else can tell you that. That's something you have to figure out. And even if you decide something, you may be wrong. You may be wrong. And that's part that you have to understand. But if they don't say that, if they say, quit being a whiny bitch, take some time, let the holidays pass, have the holiday with your dad. Sounds like you guys are going to be okay. Sounds like, he's got some stuff going on. Sounds like you two could have a good holiday. kind of commiserate a little bit. That's great.
Yeah.
Take some time and come back to him early next year. Come back to him early next year. Don't talk to him. Come back to him early next year. Ignore their calls. Ignore their texts. Ignore all that shit. Come back to him early next year after you've had some time to process what they did and how you feel about it. But that's what you got to do. You got to tell them, like, look, we're only family if you support me. Otherwise, we're just people who happen to be in the same bloodline. We're not real family if you're not supporting me. And that's how you should go about this. Honestly, that's how you should go about this, because this is a hard thing, and I get it. It's a hard thing, but no, absolutely not. Just because some sad shit happens to somebody doesn't fucking excuse everything they've done in life. That just doesn't excuse. I
mean, choices have consequences.
Absolutely.
And those consequences.
Guess what? Kevin gets to fucking die alone now
because of some kind of, they don't go away because you're disabled. They don't go away because you get cancer. They don't go away because one of your family members dies and, that you're emotionally hurt by it. Your choices are your choices, and they have consequences, and you need to deal with those consequences. Yep. And if you take your cousin's fiance and make her your girlfriend, your cousin who was like your brother, you're going to have consequences until the day you die. I'm sorry. That's not like a small little thing that someone does and they're like, and the other thing about the family, it sounds like they are saying that this girlfriend is going to be at the dinner and her presence is so important that he has to deal with it. The girlfriend's not fucking family. She can leave. I don't care if this is his last Christmas. If it is that important to the family that these cousins make up before Kevin dies, the girlfriend doesn't need to be there. Because that's not about them making up. Yep. It's about fucking Kevin again. And Kevin.
100%. Look, here's the deal. This is why this episode is particularly important and special and all of those things. Number one, you created an unbelievable t-shirt, just like a fucking 10 out of 10, maybe an 11 out of 10. I don't know. Like Karma Cancer is a fucking unbelievable t-shirt. I love that fact. Number two, so that was your first contribution to this, right?
Thank you.
The second contribution is that you've now come out of your shell. You're starting to understand how to really get down and start screaming at people that you can't see. You're starting to understand that. So that's number two. People really enjoy that shit. So that makes it better. And then number three, this was the first time that you were genuinely comfortable with the idea that it's okay to say some stuff that could be construed by some people, if they really wanted to, could be construed as insensitive. And yet, if they looked at what you actually said, would be almost irrefutable. And it's okay to understand that the world is black and white. This is the first time that you genuinely understood that. The fact that we're going to have a t-shirt that says Karma Cancer on it, number one, is full on us making fun of somebody who has cancer, right? But it's not about the cancer. I'm not making fun of cancer patients, right? And that's the key. It's not about cancer. It's about some levity to a bad situation, but it's also about understanding what we're really talking about, right? Which is, let's actually get down to brass tacks and let's understand that it's okay to understand that things are not fucking black and white. And just because I have something that says Karma Cancer on it does not mean that I'm making fun of fucking cancer, right? That's not what I'm doing. That's not what this is. We don't need to explain ourselves. It's funny because we understand what's happening, right? We understand what's happening, and we're not saying that we hope Kevin dies and all that. First of all, unbelievable. This kid, I don't know if this kid's actual name is Kevin, but I really hope it is, because this dude's just throwing Kevin under the bus. He's just like, fuck, I'm not naming anybody else, but I will throw Kevin's name out there like, fuck this kid. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's so pissed at Kevin. I love it. I love this kid. This is awesome. I fucking love this. But this is the first time. That's why it's special to me. That's why this episode is particularly special to me. Number one, you created just an unbelievable t-shirt. Great slogan. That's going on everything. I'm going to get a bumper sticker. I'm going to do the whole thing. Number two, you broke out of your shell. You're getting it. You're starting to scream at people the same way I do. I think people are going to like that. I really genuinely do. And number three, you're starting to understand that it's okay for us to be a bit of a parody and for people to understand that if they actually watch it, we're not doing what they think we're doing on the face of it. We're really getting down to the real issues. And we're telling Kevin that he's a big piece of shit who happens to have cancer. He's not a piece of shit because he has cancer, right? honestly, he has cancer because he's a piece of shit. It really goes the other way. If we're being honest, that's on the t-shirt. Everybody knows what's up. So I think we did it. That was fantastic. I love this episode. This maybe is my favorite episode we've ever done. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. So everybody can find it, all those things. You can email us if you got points about this, if you want a t-shirt, whatever. You got other questions you want us to do. I hope that other people have questions about people just getting debilitating, deadly diseases based on things that they've done to wrong others. I really hope that I can get some of that going here. So you can email us at, what's the email? The email is
info.yourrelationshipsucks@gmail.com. Okay. And then you can find us on Reddit because we source a lot of our questions and peruse on there. I'm pretty active on there. It is You Are Relationship Sucks.
Okay, so Your Relationship Sucks, You Are Relationship Sucks. You do that. We got a podcast out. Again, just all these episodes, podcast form, whatever. Tell other people about it, all that stuff. Please spread the word, all those things, because we like doing this. We would love to keep doing this. Your support means a lot. All those things, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. You can find that Your Relationship Sucks podcast, all those things. But anyways, we appreciate people supporting, listening, all that stuff. So please keep it up, and we will be back next time helping somebody else. God damn, I really hope we get another Kevin. That was unbelievable. I love today. This is my favorite thing ever. I fucking love it. I like this one better than any college confession we've done. I never thought that would happen, but I love it more than any college confession we've done. So I appreciate it, and we will see everybody next time.